Hi friends, this is Dainty Tank. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to part 2, or the end, of our lovely Ladyverse. Obviously this is recorded after, and it was because it was very long recording. But that's okay. Poke the Totoro in the upper right card area. See the first one if you haven't. If you haven't, this is part of the Trixie Glimmer Smith universe. Everything around Parsnip and the kind of ambiance that is all the information needed to know kind of what the world setting is. And it's done in a very creative way. A cross-country train. And I'm loving it so far. I had a great time playing this game. Of always, I want to call out specifically all of Digital Poppy's works. Go and check her out. Her link her itch.io link is down below in the description. You can always find her there. So thank you for that. And with that, I will pop it back over to old Dainty. The Iron Curtain. Ooh. The Warschwager Rata Republic. Things are not off to a good start. Initial, huh? You have stamped transit papers to show me? Scary border guard asks with an inexplicable suspicious twitch of her antlers. They're poking through her little beret. They're actually quite cute. It's actually quite distracting. It's actually quite important that you concentrate in your actually quite concerning predicament. Transit papers? No one warned you about those. Your big stupid eyes do their best to prove their innocence. You didn't realize you needed papers to visit your wife? What? Didn't think about checking whether you needed documents before you started traveling across the continent? You thought you'd just be able to waltz across the border? Yeah. It's called the Iron Curtain for a reason. The deer's voice breaks in desperation. You weren't really sure how to respond. In all the excitement around seeing your wife, you all but forgot how. These uncertain times. Every single commercial in the US is in these uncertain times. Understandable. These uncertain times weren't anywhere close to as exciting as the Great War had been. She sighs. You're visiting your wife, yes? You nod your head. Though you clarified that legally speaking, she's just your lovely lady friend. For now. The deer looks at you in the eyes. Her first thought is to shoot you dead, but she quickly realizes you would likely have trouble hitting your brain. It can't be bigger than a penny. She only has 2 bullets. She cannot afford to miss. Not even once. The border guard has a total of 25 rounds to cover the month. 25? She's used 23 rounds? The planned economy has run into roadblock. Everyone who once lived here is too dead to work. She instead leaves the train. Confident you are too dim to be a spy, and you are left to sit alone in the carriage. You imagine the tick-tock talking of a clock to keep you busy. Yes, you nod. You are still on. You lick your elbow. It tastes. You can lick your elbow? That's great. Tastes. Your solitude is broken by a sudden knocking on your window. But what does it taste like? No, don't you do that. What does it taste like? I can't do that. Tell me. Friend, no. Sorry about that. I'm just really excited. Like, how? Because no way. I can't. Nope. The dainty wife can lick her nose. I can't do that either. Yeah, all of my magic's in my fingers, not in my tongue. You don't need to know that. Hi, internet. Please forget that. Your solitude is broken by a sudden knocking on your window. You turn with a cry and see the border guard's face at the glass. Condensation clings to it as she breathes into the cold evening air. An icicle is forming on her antler. She slides the top of the window open, shoves her paperwork through, flutters gently onto your little lap. Is Nope, can't. That's Cyrillic, and anything Cyrillic, nope. She shouts, her voice just about making it through the window. You don't understand her, but you wave goodbye thankfully as the train departs. Mazovia, the Rada Republic. The passing countryside tells a story. There is no bedrock here. There is no parent rock. No subsoil. No topsoil. No hummus. Why is there hummus? Here there are dead poles. Ah, I hope not the people. Dead Imperials. Definitely people. Dead communists. Also people. Dead capitalists. True. A few more dead poles. Ah, the mass graves are hidden from view by a tree line. Ah, lovely Ladyverse. Why? But it makes no difference to you. Why? You're distracted by the view out the other window. What the fuck is out the other window that's distracting you from the mass graves? This is our lovely Ladyverse. Oh my god, the train picks up speed. It's a long way to Moscow. The ground grows less brown. More! Not green exactly, just less brown. Barbed wire. And just fields of chimneys devoid of houses. Make way for the border. And then for more of the same. This is our lovely Ladyverse. Moscow. The Soviet Republic. It smells of sweat. Ugh. The scent of nationalist labor. Your mother visited this country, city, only briefly, when the Soviet Republic began to maul Brandenburg. She wrote some propaganda fluff pieces about the nation to rehabilitate its image now that it was on our side. Of course, once the war ended and the Anglian government remembered that communism was bad, actually, she was instead commissioned to rehabilitate their image instead. So you got money from both sides? Smart. Remember before they were godless communists? When we were at war with a barbaric Muscovite horde? Well, there's still that barbaric horde. Worse even. Because now they're godless communists too! The Red Scare is such a big thing. Like, literally, my grandparents were World War II vets. They literally fought against fascists, specifically Nazis. And then they came home, and unfortunately, both of their kids turned into fucking fascists and were Red Scared into being literal fucking Nazis at home. And it's horrible. It's like, really? Really? You fought Nazis and you accidentally raised some. How? 14 travelers file into the train, doing their best to look casual. Failing? Uh-oh. The first 4 have greedy capitalist glint in their eyes. The 3 Frankish, 1 Anglian. The next 8 have glints of a far more paranoid variety. The Cheka. Is there Chechenian? The 13th is a magpie in a tiny little trench coat. Yes, a guest from the commune. The final traveler is blatantly a member of the Oceanian Intelligence Agency, OIA. Their competent disguise and unassuming demeanor is a dead giveaway. In the same order, shot, retired, polonium, shot, Solovki special prison, shot, stabbed, thrown into a nuclear reactor as a message to any other traitors. Okay, here's the thing. It's very hard to be thrown into a nuclear reactor. This is an area of special interest in which I've done years of dedicated study. Warning, dainty take time. So, nuclear reactor does not get thrown into, you don't get thrown into a nuclear reactor. What they're probably talking about is a nuclear pool, which is meant to have heavy water or any other sort of substrate that's able to disperse radiation into an effective medium that reduces the neutron absorption. So that way there's no outstanding coefficients, no zero voids for that neutron. Whenever you're talking about this, you're talking about protons, electrons, and neutrons. Neutrons are the ones that shoot off and create a chain reaction. So basically we're talking about a substrate pool that eliminates that neutron reaction. However, you can be thrown into those pools and can get radiation burns depending on how close you get to the decaying material that's stored within that pool. That is something that can be done. I think that's what you're trying to talk about, and not an actual reactor, which is mainly made of actual bars of radioactive material, usually uranium. Usually, specifically uranium, I think 257 is the number. And then mixed in between those is control rods. Control rods usually with borium or graphite. More graphite than anything. Graphite is very much the moderator that they use. Or water. Specifically water, because it's really good at moderating. Because the neutron goes into the water and is able to break up all of these polarized electrons and protons in the water without actually causing any sort of hit to any other of the fuel rods in there, which creates that chain reaction and heats up everything. It's literally just a steam reaction, much like you'd see in like any sort of steam engine or steam generator. It's that same mentality. It's basically water physics. Anyways, apologies, that was Dainty Tank PSA. I know everything about nuclear. Way too much about nuclear. Don't worry about nuclear. Fed feet first into a furnace. Oh, it's a message to any other traders. Hopefully it was quick and not just like slow. Shot. Polonium. Bird flu. Ugh. Stabbed 7 times in the back. Suicide. Suicide. Of course, it's not suicide, but it's suicide. Totally. Don't worry about it. Don't look into it. Nothing happened. The group spreads out around the carriage. You wave to them, each in turn. Hi, guys! It's good to have some company on this lonely train. Tartarskaya ASSR, the Soviet Republic. The workers are no more free now from the claws of statehood than they were under the Tsar. Well, maybe a little, but barely. Dreams echo from the revolution in the form of faded posters besides the track. Nope, that's not it. Yep, nope. Peace, bread, land. This is peace at gunpoint. This is bread in a ration block. This is land seeded with bullets and fertilized with blood. The only grass is shrapnel. So it's talking about Ukraine. The only flowers are mines. This is our lovely Ladyverse. Was it always destined to be this way? No. Was it mammal nature? Fuck you. Was it the war? Maybe? The guns were already drawn. The lines too. If the Iberian Republic, the pacifist, model of communism that even the liberals begrudgingly accept as a success had been born while Frankreich was not murdering itself, and as such too busy to stop them building cannons and forts across the Pyrenees, would it have survived? No. This is our lovely Ladyverse. The train passes a factory. It was still running, even this late. The smoke from the smokestack is lit from below by the red lights of the military base. As the smoke rises into the night, it fades from red to a dark, dreary gray. This is our lovely Ladyverse. Do not lose heart. The revolution is eternal. The barbed wire binding your wrists, cutting them, biting. Will never sleep easy, so long as the blood that runs through your veins and coats its spikes is red. This is our lovely Ladyverse. Town with too many bullet holes and the sign to be identifiable. The Soviet Republic. You aren't sure what the name of this town is. No one is. The Civil War was as brutal as it was short. Everyone who knew these towns' name met the same fate as the sign, but doesn't stay standing. The sign is just built different, I guess. Held together with rust and spite. Besides the station, there is a colossal industrial complex. It claims to be that textiles factory, but it's clearly an atomic research compound. You can tell because textiles factories tend not to make their teeth vibrate weirdly. Your teeth won't vibrate weirdly. Not around them. No, it's not the teeth. Specifically. You will taste things, though. Make your fur feel warm. That it can if you're getting too close. Yeah, it can. Or have an armored division parked in front of them. That's a good sign. You can see your fellow travelers' eyes snap from the compound to each other and back to the compound, faster than the whirl of the plane's propellers. You're on a plane now? I thought you were on a train. The conductor blows her whistle, ready to depart. Like a shot, all 4 Allied spies rush off the train towards the facility. Of course you are. Good luck, friends. The Checha agents are hot on their heels, still holding the newspapers in front of their faces. Magpie flaps after them. The spy from Oceana, you realize, disappeared quite some time ago. Perhaps the fire now blazing in the compound is connected, or perhaps it was a coincidence. A fire is not a good thing there. Fire is not a good thing. Somewhere in Siberia, the Soviet Republic. Yes, still. It's very big. You fall asleep. It is dark. And cold. You are lonely. Oh, and you are so lonely. So lonely. You get out of the train. You walk through the snow. The sound has changed. Thank you for that. Through the mud. Through the wind. The obelisk stands 10 meters tall. Frost clings to it, etched into it. You lick it. Why do you lick it? Why do you lick it? Your tongue hurts. Is it stuck to it? A series of sharp lines. The skyline of the fourth city. The cloud sea. A billion fireflies darting above a city wrought in maroon metal. Streets deserted, but for creeping shadows. The city's populace. A sea of black. Unblemished obsidian stretching forever into the darkness where the light of the fireflies reaches. Not clouds. A sea made of clouds. Yellow. Oh god. Not the king in yellow. Pink. Okay. Pink. Blue. Colors you do not know. Colors that do not exist. They roll together. They broil. They quake. The broken skeletons of ships. Not ships. Galleys. Slave galleys. Slave galleys that once belonged to the falling city. The 14th. Gone now. Their masts are cracked. They sink into the clouds. They are stationary inside the clouds. Nothing changes in the cloud sea now. It is all gone. It has all been forgotten. There is nothing left outside of the walls. Outside the walls of the 13. Until one day, they too shall fall from heaven, like that angel bereft of its wings to become maggot food on Earth, as we did when first we sinned. Somewhere in Siberia, the Soviet Republic. Your eyes snap open. You must have fallen asleep. What a strange. Did you lick something? Dream. This is our lovely Ladyverse. South of the dead zone. Yes, you're still in the Soviet Republic. It's fucking big, okay? Toxic haze up the northern horizon. Is that where the Tsar Bomba dropped? Under certain wind conditions, the station would have been evacuated to avoid the volcanic fumes. Oh yeah, I forgot there was a whole, like, volcanic apocalypse that happened. You keep an eye on the flags at the end of the station. The wind blows northward. You hope it stays that way. I wouldn't know. It is a strange feeling to stare into death. A gray aurora borealis that would love nothing more than to wrap itself around your neck and choke you. Green light till your little lights turn to glass. Okay, red light. And your body is preserved in ice. Yellow. After doll, another doll for its collection. Morbid as the thought is, you are far too busy to die. You have a wife to visit. Not long into the construction of the stretch of the track, the Tsar did not receive a progress report for a month. A strike? The military was sent to investigate. They found the entire workforce dead. Faces locked in various states of horror. Some of the corpses supposedly gnawed on. Who by? Siberian stalkers? Each other? A horrific end, either way. Still, rerouting the track would have taken far too long. The Tsar wanted his vanity project completed swiftly, which it was, 15 months after he had been shot. Okay. Manchurian border, the Soviet Republic, or Manchuria. It's complicated. You passed through the Soviet border without incident. You're a little communist knife slicing through a little communist butter. You can feel the capitalism rush back into your body. I'm so sorry. That must be painful. This must be what it was like to drink vomit. I get it. I get it. I just made the joke, but thank you for visualizing it for me. Through a straw. This is our lovely Ladyverse. With a gay little wave, hi, you say goodbye to the Soviet Republic. Bye, Republic! So long, comrades. And in the distance, you can see soldiers and a tank. Tanks. Dainty tanks. This is our lovely Ladyverse. Somewhere in Manchuria. Manchuria? Eurasia sits in the cloying hands of the Soviets, not Manchuria. She escaped from the Muscovite Empire during the chaos of the Great War. Now she is Key's little sister. How cute. You don't know much about the politics of it, but you assume it was all happy families and wave at the grizzled troops stationed at the refueling depot. They eye you suspiciously. What difference does it make? Trading a Tsar appointed by God for the Son of Heaven? It's not really your question to answer. You may have left the specter of communism behind at the border, but the Siberian chill knows no such bounds and has become quite attached to you. Like an unrequited lover. Really? If it's attached to you, then it's definitely requited. Like a leech. Okay, that's different. You pull your clothes tight and look across the rolling autumn plains to the southern horizon. Where are you going? Like, do you know? Somewhere that way is your wife. Perhaps she has guessed you were coming. I hope you had sent word. Who knows? I hope she does. Strange. Usually thinking about your wife doesn't make you feel like you've been punched in the stomach. That's no good. The carriage is empty. It's been it has been for a long time now. You're all alone, and ever so far away from home. In Anglia, in Frankreich, even in Brandenburg, you spoke the language, or people spoke yours. Here, when people do sit on the train, they cannot speak to you. You sit feet apart. You can smell them. The sweat on their brow. The nicotine on their breath. Ugh. The piss on their trouser legs from trying to stand up and pee while the train is moving. Ugh. You feel like you know them intimately. But you cannot say hello. This is our lovely Ladyverse. The planes continue to roll. Endlessly. 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 Past. You order some wine from the train's now rather bare kitchen. You may be unable to think the nerves away, but you can certainly drink the nerves away. This is our lovely Ladyverse. Kaka tree tree brie. Oh my god. We know Kaka tree brie. Kari. Never in your life have you seen so many crows and ravens and magpies and jays in one place. It's the corvids. They are mammals too, of course. But there are nowhere as many as you are used to in your little Anglian life. Not far from the station, standing tall, strong, there is a great castle, hundreds of years old, once a place of war, now revitalized with new purpose. The League of Corbin Nations. Oh! A league consisting of the following entities. Kari, Croatia, the Central Africa Corvid Commune, single bird tribe from the southern continent of Austria. Okay. This concludes the list of entities in the league. Alright? The league exists in a better world, a noble goal. Your Corvid friends, mostly stateless, have long been maligned by mammal society. They cannot be trusted. They are thieves. Spies. They spread disease. They've been around for many, many thousands of years, longer than us mammals. They must secretly be running things. This last part is true. This is basically like Jewish, like Ashkenazi Jewish phobia that's happening here. Like, is that what you're trying to illustrate? Like, I understand that you're trying to showcase that there's a lot of prejudice because they are an old race. And that sucks so much because there's so much, like, implied racism there. But on the flip side, I say it sucks, but I also love the fact that there is this whole thing that is dedicated to world building. That is amazing. This last part is true, but only when describing the Anglian postal service. You pick up a pamphlet from the kiosk in front of the building. It's been helpfully translated into several major languages, Anglian among them. The history of the League of Corbin Nations. It's a page long. Just long enough for the organization's year-long history. Your wife loves Corbin history, albeit slightly less than serpent history. Oh, serpent history, eh? So this will be a fun present for her. Perhaps. It might be a little basic, actually. Regardless, you continue towards her, ever onwards. Your heart flutters, like the flags that fly, like birds, outside the castle that hosts the league. The end of the world, basically. Kari. It doesn't take long to find the harbor. Follow the smell of the salty sea. Salty seaweed. Salty seamen. Ugh. And don't lick any of them, as tempting as it is. Sea breeze flutters through your whiskers. Shiver runs up your tail. The open ocean lies ahead. How scary. But today, the furthest stretch of water you had ever seen was the channel. And you could just about see Frankfurt on the other side of on a clear day. Practically a river. Note, you will later discover that Frankreich was, in fact, the Isle of Wight. Not the Pacific, though. No? You're seeing the Pacific, though? Yeah. The Pacific stretches for perhaps 10,000 miles before it reaches Europa and Africa. Does North America not exist here? Save Moro, Hawaii, and the American archipelago. There's nothing between you. You almost feel you can jump up high and wave to your home. You don't do that, though, for it would make you look awfully silly. No, wait. Fuck it. Yes, you do. People avert their gaze from you. They think you're gone mad. Happens sometimes. The sea, laid out like this. The place where the gods ran out of ideas and called it a day. It has this effect on people. The steamship is leaving any moment. You don't want to miss it. Steamship? Are you going to Japan? Lost Nihon, the West Pacific. Boats are just wet trains. 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 Did you know boats are just wet trains? A single island juts from the sea. Mount Fuji. You are going to Japan. The Isle of Fuji would be more accurate. Language never really made this transition from one to the other when the archipelago sunk. Oh, how admirably stubborn. A pink coat of blossoming trees cling to the edge of the mountain with an impressive tenacity. Oh, I love cherry blossoms. The only mammalian presence here is a single dock. A path leading to the 100 or so meters to the peak of the mountain, where you can see, ever so faintly, the outline of a shrine. A memorial to a land that has long since been lost. The sea below you is filled with ghosts. Do not be sad. They did not all die. Most lived. Their culture no longer concentrated into a single diamond, but spread across East Asia like confetti. Even in Anglia, it is known now. Seal Island is a monument, but it does not represent an end. It represents a new beginning. Another chance. The island is beautiful, but a miasma of anxiety clings to it. The Americas sank. The Americas sunk. Nihon sunk. One day your home might sink too. You chose to ignore that thought. Okay. Global warming? Is that what that is? Understandable. Very understandable. Not all of the Americas would sink. I get a lot of it would. Honestly, America's penis, which is Florida, would sink. Very importantly. But here, most of the Americas sink, which just makes sense. Japan sinking is sad, actually. There isn't much you can do to stop Anglia sinking beneath the waves. Indeed, sometimes you wish you would. When the archipelago started sliding into the sea, there were rumors of the dynasty across the sea being to blame. But the dynasty's coastline fell into the sea too. The blame was quickly shifted to Oceana. They were innocent. Of course. If Oceana had the means to sink swaths of land at their desire, Moscow would currently be a prime cruise location. I see you. As if on cue, the serenity of the mountain is broken by an oceanic dreadnought appears on the horizon. If ever there was a greater testament of Oceana's unrivaled vocal commitment to anti-imperialism, it is this. The most modern dreadnought of the most modern navy in the world. Sarawak, 1910. Malay, 1912. Gunzi, 1918. Hainan, 1918. Medan, 1920. Lakshmanpur, 1923. Shri, nope, 1923. Rodrigue, 1925. A list of places this dreadnought has visited. A list of places that very recently began to reside within the Greater Oceana Union. Probably just a coincidence. Dreadnought eyes their weak little body. Still fresh from the Soviet musk. You give yourself a sniff. It isn't the musky smell of communism that plagues you. It's the musky smell of something. Perhaps not washing your clothes since you departed Blue Hills was a mistake. You hope your wife has a poor sense of smell. She doesn't. But she's an archaeologist working in the jungle. She's used to smelly women. She is one. The West Pacific. The West Pacific. Boats are just wet trains. Boats are just wet trains. Boats are just wet trains. Did you know? Boats are just wet trains. 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 The ocean. It is vast. It is beautiful. It is ever so calm. This is our lovely Ladyverse. Serenity is probably a good thing. The butterflies in your stomach are upset enough already. Your wife. Your lovely wife. What if she realizes you aren't so pretty as in your grainy photographs? What if she thinks your voice is ever so ugly? What if there's no chemistry between you when your words are spoken out loud instead of transcribed poetically in ink? You smile. Everything will be okay. You love your wife and your wife loves you. The capital of her homeland appears on the horizon. The glass windows shine like treasure in the sun. This is our lovely Ladyverse. Oceana. Oceana. Oceana is quite unlike its counterpart capitals in Europa. The buildings are artfully carved from wood and stone, more ornate than functional. Built a long time ago and never torn down by bomb or bulldozer. The streets do not choke in the shadow of smokestacks or foundries, for those lay outside the city. The food actually looks appetizing. No hastily rebuilt post-war architecture. One would be tempted to scoff, to accuse the city of profiteering from all the arms it sold during the Great War. But it's clear the city has been a wonder for many, many centuries. You find yourself in a tea shop and spend an evening tasting all manner of tea you would never dream of finding in England. At least unless you were rich. You're about halfway through a cup of fruitly sweet tea when you recognize the familiar sound of the home country's accent. The fur on the back of your neck stands on end. Anglians. 2 of them. Businesswomen. From London, it seems? The situation is deteriorating by the minute. One is tall, professional-looking fox. You can feel yourself being grifted through proximity. The other, a small crow in her finest little tie. Adorable. They sit nearby and began muttering to one another. Corporate espionage time. Corporate espionage time. I didn't spend years curled up in the mud being shot at by the Crutz. So some oceanic sleazebag can tell me what to do with my corporation. Whines the fox. You didn't spend years curled in the mud being shot at by the Crutz though, did you? Replies her avian assistant. You were living with your father in your secret mansion in the Rockies, I thought. Yes, well, the fox snaps. If father had spent more money keeping the business afloat and less money on his secret mansion, golf and stocks in those now nationalized Muscovite business, we might not have had to sell the corporation to foreigners. The venom she puts into the word foreigners is so strong her tea turns bitter. You roll her eyes. Why are Anglians like this? Not you, of course. You're one of the good ones. Smiley face. The woman almost seems to break her glass, slamming it back onto the table. God, not to mention pissing away my inheritance on his cancer treatment. She complains. Found a lot of good that did him, huh? Bird nods along quietly. Personally, you are quite glad the woman is upset. She seems quite awful. Now this woman. She continues to be a woman. She's trying to think of a generic Oceana name so she can do a little bit of racism. She can't think of one. Whatever her name is. Tell me, I'm not supposed to pay my workers when they are sick? She's the one who has to get spat on by them. You never paid your workers when they were sick, though. Yes, yes? Says the bird. Just asking questions. Just asking questions. Yes, well. The woman snaps again. When she says yes, well, whenever she's angry. Which is a lot. The point is, it should be my choice to not pay them. Which I won't. I'm not some bitch on the other side of the planet. Fuck this human. Sorry, fuck this fox. But not in the good way. Not good fucking. The woman seems about to launch into another rant when the pair are interrupted by a chirpy voice. A sugar glider in a respectful dress. Respectable in the business sense. It's actually quite the shit. Miss Waters? She asks. The crafty clever crow? Could I really run into my favorite two Anglians? She seems friendly, but she's a businesswoman, and so, you know, she's probably very horrible. Goodness! Fancy running into you here. We might as well have booked our meeting for tonight. Laughs Mrs. Waters. All talks of sleazy Oceanic is lost, and Miss Waters greedily laps at the woman for investment. You grow tired of listening to the group and find somewhere to sleep for the night. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. The end of the line. Oceana. Jungle heat bites you. Like the mosquitoes. Which also bite you. Hopefully none of them have malaria. But they might have malaria. This is our lovely Ladyverse. The train grinds to a halt at the station. The station's so small, compared to the ruins that surround it. They watch you. Alive. In the melancholy. If the tiny temples here are so majestic, how beautiful the great cities of the sunken American continent must have been. How sad that you're gone. Okay, so you're in America now. Alright. The ruins were not always ruins. No. They were once lived in. Alive. Lived in by alive creatures. By serpents. They are dead now. Gone forever. Like you will be. If the mosquitoes here have malaria. Which they might. And then Blue Hills will wait patiently for you to return to its streets. As these ruins do. For their skilled friends. This is our lovely Ladyverse. The whine of distant logging camps filters through the air like a swarm of bees. Or the mosquitoes. Which still bite you. And possibly have malaria. You haven't run out of blood yet. Yet. The barbed wire around your wrist's size. So fun fact. Dainty Tank fun fact. Interrupting here. There was actually a government project and a tested released bomb of literally a swarm of mosquitoes over Atlanta. I'm not kidding you. They did this. If you want to know more about the U.S. and the U.S. testing, they released a bomb of mosquitoes onto Atlanta. And we have not gotten rid of them since. Fuck that. Tell me about it. This is our lovely Ladyverse. A woman enters the station right as you leave. She doesn't see you. She is searching her bag, distracted, on her way to Oceana, to the harbor. Familiar. She looks almost like your lovely lady friend. She sent a photograph once, but this is not her. for she is not wearing any excavation gear. Your increasing proximity to your wife is making you antsy, it seems. This is normal. This is expected. Wife derangement syndrome affects up to 20% of the lovely little ladies in their lifetime. It's because they love their wives. Very, very much. This is our lovely Ladyverse. The Great Plateau Dig Site. Oceana. Your long journey is finally at its end. Oh, it's you. This must be Manchuria, the head archaeologist. Your wife has told you all about her. You question how she knows it's you. She points out your sweat-drenched clothing. Hardly suited for any latitude south of Anglia, let alone the jungle atop the plateau. You giggle. You ask again where your wife is. Where's your little lady friend? Where's that lovely mouse? She said she couldn't wait anymore. With Laundry chuckles. That she simply had to go visit you. She left not long ago. You probably swapped seats on the train. No. The woman you saw at the station. Could it really have been? You wave your arms about, speaking incoherently about the woman. Your lady friend, perhaps. Her curious lack of excavation gear. You know, she sometimes wears other clothes, don't you? Often, in fact. Professor laughs. No. Oh. You hadn't considered that for some reason. Oh no. What a silly girl you are. There's a short silence. No. No. It was quite a long one, actually. Yeah, I was about to say, this is a lot of spacebar, and then you speak. I need to go catch a train. This is our lovely Ladyverse. Please, epilogue. Did you catch it? The world is shit. No. But there are wives and lovely lady friends. At the time of writing, I have two that I love ever so dearly. Oh, good. Oh, good. I hope this is digital property. If so, then having two lady friends sounds great. I am so proud of you. When I look into a past too horrible to dwell upon, and into a future too bleak to imagine, I try not to think, why should I go on living? I try to think, I have to go on living. Yes. So I can kiss them. I hope. Even one more time. Every time. One more time. Made by Video Tom. Written by Digital Poppy. Art by Mia Khan. Thank you for this. Oh. This was a lot. Oh, no. Not gonna restart. Well, thank you for this. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I had a lot of fun going through. It was very interesting to see all of the Ladyverse curl out. I'm very sad that they missed each other at the train station. No! But on the flip side, like, I can very much see the little ditty one getting on a train without telling or saying, I'm coming to visit you, and, like, getting that in the mail. So, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye!